The Flyers are finally back. I know a lot of people in the chat are already giving me a hard time about the Flyers. I had 3 weeks off and we're already back. Oh, 52 years and counting. Oh, that means I can't be a fan. Nice JR jersey. Oh, thank you. It's signed too, right here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the live. You probably can, but yeah, it's signed. Got it for cheap too. So thank you. But yeah, Flyers go down last night 3-1 to Washington. Felt like they couldn't win a big face-off the whole game, which that's how it's going to be when you don't have any centers. And then we have a big game tonight. And if you know me, you know this game means more than anything to me because of who they're playing. Someone said one cup in 94, and yeah, one cup since 1940. They better win tonight. I agree. If they win tonight, oh my gosh, my Broad Street Banter tomorrow is going to be electric if the Flyers win tonight. If they don't, it's going to be miserable. I encourage you guys to watch either way. But bet the house on the Rangers, everyone. The Flyers can beat an AHL team. Well, you're going to lose a lot of money tonight and you're going to be homeless. I hope. I expect the Flyers to win, but that's because we're playing the worst team in the league. But I could be wrong. Nick versus Rempe. If Delorier plays, I would assume he would just because of Rempe, but I wouldn't put it past them to sit him anyways, because I think that's kind of the least of their worries. You know, like I don't think Rempe is something on the top of their, you know, list for tonight's game. Like they're not looking at tonight's game and looking at the opponent being like, oh, we gotta put someone out there for Rempe. Like he sucks. So what's up, Johnny? How we doing? How we doing? Thank you everyone for joining today. But yeah, about last night, I was enjoying the first period. They looked good except for the power play they had in the first period. Uh, they outplayed them. They outshot them. Second period, they got outplayed. They go down 1-0 off of a goal that was not Vladar's fault at all. And then the third period comes. They get a quick one. Cates ties it on a deflection from Sanheim from the point. Cates deflects it. Michkov with the screen in front. They tie the game. And then with about 6 minutes left, maybe a little less than that, Capitals take the lead. And it's always the guys that never score will score against us. Sandin, third goal of the year. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, that dude's been playing since the dinosaurs were alive. I don't think I've ever witnessed him put the puck in the net until last night. And of course, it's against us. Like, are we kidding? That was his second goal of the year. 5 goals combined by the two guys that scored for Washington last night, and then the empty netter, of course. So frustrating. It's always I was out watching the game with my friend, and I said to him, I said, when Trevor Van Riemsdyk scored, I said, watch, this is going to be like his 4th goal of the year. And it was his second. Second. Even Cutter Gauthier didn't want to play for that poverty franchise. Christian, may I ask what team you root for? Just out of curiosity. At least there seems to be a path forward. Offload some big contracts and focus on the draft. You support a real team? I would say the Flyers are a real team. We're not that good, but we're a real team. Back to Daniel's comment about offload some big contracts and focus on the draft. If we're doing that, then what contracts are we getting rid of? Because they're not gonna. I think the only one that they would consider getting rid of is Tippett, and I don't even think they're gonna do that. I'm not saying they should, but I think out of any of the bigger contracts they have, they're not gonna get rid of Konechny. They're not gonna get rid of Sanheim. Aristo, he's making $5 million a year. They just extended Dvorak. He's not going anywhere. Is there a way to offload Coots? It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. They're not going to get rid of Couturier. Not because they don't want to, but because they simply can't. Nobody is going to take him. I love Sean Couturier, but he looks lost out there. He looks absolutely lost. And it's very frustrating and sad to watch because it's not really his fault. If he could have stayed healthy and played how he was playing before he was hurt, then that would be great. But unfortunately, that's just not who Coots is anymore after his injuries. It's very sad. Whole franchise is lost. I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if some of the people saying these things are Flyers fans or they're not Flyers fans. But a lot of people, every time we lose, come in here and overreact a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm just as pissed off about last night's loss as you guys are. But sometimes I think people come in here and they overreact because, oh, we lost last night, so that means we suck. The whole franchise is lost. We're a poverty franchise. And I'm not saying those things are or aren't true, but just because we lost last night doesn't mean that. If we won last night, everyone would be in here saying, like, oh, we can make the playoffs. Like, it I'm not saying it's fine that we lost, but it is just one game, you know? Kyle says, "Dude, we are done. Time to tank." How are you going to tank 4 games above 500? If we had the record the Rangers have, sure, tank, please lose. But I don't see how a team we that can tank when you're 4 games above 500. I'm not saying that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they are. Bro, just look at the Rangers. I love it. Yeah, that's great. Go Islanders. The Sharks, the Ducks, and Blue Jackets all have a better trajectory. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. The Ducks. Yeah, probably. Sharks, obviously. Blue Jackets, yeah. We can still make the playoffs. We just need to go on a good run. I agree. I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people keep asking me that. Are we gonna make the playoffs? Do you think we make it? Personally, I don't think we will, but I'm not gonna give up hope yet and say, oh, we're not. I'm not saying we're not making the playoffs. I'm just saying I personally don't see it happening, but it can. It's not impossible, is what I'm trying to get at. Just need to play the Rangers for the next 20 games. Well, we're 0-1-1 against them this year, so we got to beat them first before we say that. 6.8% chance for playoffs. What's up, JT? How you doing, man? It is it is brutal how this team was what 12 games above 500, 11 or 12, and now we're 4, and that includes a lot more overtime and shootout losses. Sad to go from watching Olympic hockey to this. That's another thing. How obviously Team USA and Team Canada are going to be better than pretty much any NHL team, but the difference in level of play between that USA and Canada game or just any Olympic game versus like Flyers Capitals or Flyers anybody is unbelievable. Risto for a center prospect sounds good. We need a center. We need everyone says we need a first line center. We need about 4 of them. Last night, Carl Grundstrom was playing the fourth line center, and I have no problem with Grundstrom being in the lineup. I prefer him in there over Hathaway, Delorier, uh, Abels when he's healthy, uh, Pedersen or Peterson, however you say his name. I don't mind Grundstrom being in there, but he's not a center. I'd take a second line center for Risto, absolutely, and then maybe they'll play Emil Andre, who I believe is the second or third best defenseman on this team, and you guys can argue with me on that all you want. You're not going to change my mind. And they don't play him. He has not gotten a chance to prove himself that much. And it is sad watching him rot on the bench or rot as a healthy scratch and not play when you have guys like Juleson on the ice. Andre plays big for a small guy. I agree. He's a good skater, too. My King Emil. What's up, Nick? I don't understand why Emil Andre is not playing. I mean, I could go on that rant for the rest of this episode. I won't, but I could. That is frustrating right there. That whole that whole situation with Emil Andre is so frustrating. Vladar played very well last night. Yes, he did. We didn't talk about that yet. Vladar played great last night. He looks great. They signed him as like a fringe starter, and he has been phenomenal this year. He's been phenomenal. We knew since the first game of the year he'd be our starter over Erson, and he's been great. And we're letting him down. Both goals last night, he had no chance on. No goalie in the league would have any chance on those goals that he gave up. And he only led in two. It's not like he gave up five that weren't his fault. He gave up two goals. He comes up with a lot of big saves. That's for sure. Last night was very winnable. I agree. After the first period, I thought they were going to win that game. Normally in a Flyers game, in the last few years, you can tell in the first 5 minutes if they're going to win the game or not. Last night was one of the first times this year where I thought they were going to win after the first 5 minutes, and they didn't. You can always tell, like, how they come out of the gates. That's how they're going to play, and that's how the game's going to go. Last night, they came out pretty strong, and I was like, okay, maybe they take 2 points tonight. Didn't even get one. They should have hired Bradshaw. Tocchet is destroying this franchise. I agree with half of that. I wanted them to give Bradshaw a chance after last year. I really liked the style of hockey we were playing. Our offense was much better. Our power play was better with under Bradshaw, and they did not give him a chance. And now I think he's the assistant coach for the Devils, or one of the assistant coaches. So very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. Playoff chances down to 9.5. I think it's lower than that. Started too hot. You can never start too hot. You just got to consistently play well. You like Brad? Oh, hey, Joe, what's up? That game ended our chances. Sell at the deadline. If they're this far out at the deadline, yes, they're gonna sell. You're gonna see guys like Risto get traded. You're gonna see Emil Andre get traded, unfortunately, which makes no sense. Like I said, could rant about that for forever. I wouldn't be surprised if Tippett got traded. I wouldn't. Okay, maybe I'd be a little surprised, but like I could see it happening, you know? The honeymoon period is over with Briere. It's time to start doing something. I agree. I know you're a big fan of Tippett, Joe, but I could see him getting traded for picks or a center, or maybe packaged in a deal for a guy like Robert Thomas from the Blues. Risto needs to go, go, go for Stamkos. I'd love to have Stamkos on this team. I know 99% of our fan base will disagree with that. I would love to have Stamkos. Imagine him on the power play. We'd actually have a watchable power play. Tippett being traded is really likely. I agree. I don't want Stamkos. He's too old. Well, he's like what, 36? Maybe 37? It's old, but you're going to need some guys that are good now. You can't keep relying on guys to be good in a few years every year. You need some guys that are good now. Like when we had Giroux, or when Coots before he got hurt, or Konechny now, Zegras now. Everyone else, they're relying on them to be good in a few years. But you need some guys that are good now, especially to help develop that young talent. Like right now, the only guy that's there to help develop young talent on the team is Couturier, and he's not a lead by example kind of guy anymore because he's so banged up and he's so slow. And that's not me taking a shot at Sean Couturier. That's just the truth. Let the kids get the experience. I agree, but our whole team is basically so young. Who would you want us to target? It's a good question, Jessica. I want Robert Thomas or Cairo from the Blues. They're not having a good year at all. I would love to get one of those guys. I know a lot of people don't want to get rid of Tippett. I don't necessarily want to get rid of him either, but I feel that packaging him in a deal for a guy like Cairo or a center like Robert Thomas would be great for this team. And at this point, I really just want to target any center that's better than the guys that we have. Because if you think about the Flyers' history and think of their best players, they're pretty much all centers. Bobby Clark, Eric Lindros, they're centers. Our best center right now is Dvorak, who's not bad, but he's not really a number one center. Zegers has been playing a little center, but they put him on the wing last night. They put Grunstrom at center. Grunstrom's not a center. Dvorak is a 2C. I agree. I agree. We are desperately in need of centers. Correct. I agree that Dvorak is a solid second line center. I agree, Philly. I agree. Dvorak, I was pleasantly surprised by, but is not a first line center. I agree with that. I think he's like a second line center. I think that's where his talent is. We will always be 2 to 3 years away. That's what it feels like. Dvorak second or third line on a contending team, yes, yes. I would say he's second or third line center on a contending team, but unfortunately, we're not that right now, which is why he's first or second line on our team. We don't need offensive defensemen. We need heavy defensemen. I disagree. I feel like that's that's a hard thing to debate because we have some offensive defensemen. They just don't do anything on offense. So they're really not offensive defensemen. But guys like Drysdale, uh, you know, they're not as big and they're supposed to be like an offensive defenseman. But Drysdale doesn't have that many points. Then there's bigger guys that are supposed to be like the big defenseman, like Ristolainen, but we're talking about trading him. Sanheim's like in the middle of the two. The meaning of insanity, doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. Yeah, pretty much. We need Provorov back. That's a take. I didn't want them to trade Provorov in the first place. I was not happy. I remember being on the phone with my friend that day and I was pissed off because I didn't think we got enough. I think Cal Pedersen was in that deal. Every good power play has a solid offensive defenseman. We don't really have one of those. Sanheim's a great guy on the defensive side, but he's not going to put up that many points. Same with York. Sometimes, depending on what mood he's in. Drysdale's supposed to be that guy, but I know everyone likes Drysdale and I do too, but and he's having a good year, but he's not like he can't be our best offensive defenseman if we want to be a playoff team. Drysdale is a second pair defenseman on the second power play unit. Great. Awesome. Love it. He can't be our first option, though. As much as I like him. Huge hot take. We should get Pavelski out of retirement to play for us. If you guys think Coots is slow, I don't think Pavelski is going to be much quicker. Coots and Tip aren't enough value for a 1C. Depends what kind of 1C we're talking about. No one's going to take Coots, though. It's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. He's going to retire a Flyer. He's going to retire in the next few years. He's never going to wear another uniform that isn't the Flyers because nobody's going to take him. Someone said Coots is washed. Look, I'm going to be honest. I hate when people call athletes washed, but I agree. I hate that phrase because like sometimes guys will get older and they can't keep up as much as they used to and people be like, "Oh, this guy's washed." I hate that, but you're not wrong. Injuries ruined Coots, absolutely. Absolutely they did. He had his best career season before he got hurt. I hated when Voracek got traded. Yeah, we traded him for Cam Atkinson. That was quite the move. And then Atkinson was out for a whole year. He came back and he stunk. So, Selke Trophy winner, that's right. Sean Couturier. Yeah, I'll take some call-ins now, though. Let's see who wants to call in. I know Luke wanted to call in first. So, Luke, I'm going to add you now, as long as you're ready, just for a few minutes.
What is up, JT?
Luke, how we doing, man?
I don't know if I should say happy or sad after last night.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You watched the whole game?
Yep, unfortunately.
Yeah. How do you feel about
Not
tonight?
totally unfortunately, it's just we really need to get better defensemen.
Yep, absolutely. I feel like we asked this question a lot, but is there a certain defenseman you'd want to get at the deadline or a certain move you'd want to make in the offseason?
I don't know. I only thing I really want is Stamkos. I really want our power play to be watchable because if we're gonna try and go for the playoffs, power plays are very essential in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think we'd have to give up for a guy like Stamkos?
We would probably have to give up something good. I'd say maybe a second round draft pick and Tippett. That's just
Mm,
like I don't even know what to say about Stamkos because I haven't really watched him play a game in a while,
that's a
and
lot.
I've heard he has been having good stats,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much it.
The thing is with Tippett, it's like he's supposed to be like a 30 goal scorer.
Yeah, he was supposed to have his breakout year this year. I heard.
And he can be. His first 2 years with the Flyers, he scored 28 and 27. The team is better now around him than those first few years because that team was terrible in like 2022, 23. We can all agree that team was bad. And he put up 28 goals and then 27 goals. And now Anthony said it best in the chat. Tippett is too streaky. I agree. He had the hat trick against Colorado. And then what? You know?
Yeah.
So
We also
he's
need to
streaky.
uh, we also need to work on our 3-on-3s for overtime.
Yes. Well, a lot of the time we have to get to 3-on-3, but I agree. 3-on-3 is not our strong suit. We're not a team that has enough speed to the point where 3-on-3 benefits us, which is why we don't play well in overtime. And a lot of the times now, I think they know that they are not good in overtime and they try to stall to get to the shootout. But a lot of the times you can't do that because if the other team's applying pressure trying to win in OT and you're sitting back, you're not going to win. Joe says we got to work on our 6-on-4. That's also true. We had 6-on-4 last night for the last minute. We didn't touch the puck. How is it
Yeah.
possible to have a two-man advantage? You have six guys on the ice and you can't touch the puck and you give up an empty netter. How is that possible?
Yeah, but here's the thing. The past is the past. We have to work on tonight. We're going up against the last place Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a must-win game if we are going to try and push for the playoffs. Because I think we are only 8 or maybe even 10 points out of the playoffs, I think.
I think it's
Maybe
8 right now.
8 right now for a wild card spot.
Yep. And the
Just saying.
division. I think it's the same for both.
We might have came back from Olympic break exhausted, but I'd say we should start playing good going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need a good month of February if we are going to try and push for the playoffs. And I'm not going to say we're going to go to the Stanley Cup. We're not going to go far. I just want to make the playoffs. I want to end the drought, and I want us to show that this season was successful.
I agree. And I think a lot of people are going to disagree with that. Everyone's saying, oh, no, we need to tank. Every single time we lose a game, and I do Broad Street Banter, everybody in the chat is saying to tank. Every time we win a game, everybody is saying, let's push for the playoffs.
Yeah, even
Pick
if
one or the other, you know? Like,
tanking has not gone well for us over the years,
No.
if we even have tanked. Because, I mean, we didn't, when we drafted Van Riemsdyk, we didn't get the first overall pick.
Right.
And we were one of the worst teams in the league. Like when we got Nolan Patrick, second overall pick, we haven't gotten the first since we drafted Mel Bridgman or whatever his last name is.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I agree. People in the chat are very mixed feelings. Let's tank, no tanking. Someone said Patrick had potential. Yeah, of course he did, but
Yeah,
that
he
was
had a really good potential, I'm not going to lie.
another guy that was killed by injuries.
I was really excited for him.
Jessica says we don't properly tank, which, I mean, you're not wrong, but you can't fault a team for not being bad enough or just not having the luck to win the lottery. I mean, look at the Islanders last year. They barely missed the playoffs. They got the first pick, and now they're good, just like that. That has
I'll
never
never
happened
forget
to
when
us.
we played spoiler for the Islanders and we won against them.
That's right. That's right.
That was
And
pretty cool.
we also never. I'm not saying that like it's just that we have bad luck, but I think that is a part of it because the Flyers have never won the lottery in their franchise history. And like I said, look at the Islanders last year. They had, I think, the 11th best odds to win the lottery, and they won it. They get Schaefer. They signed Shabanov in free agency. Now they're a good team and they're in the playoffs. We
Yeah.
have never won the lottery ever. Even being the worst team in one of the worst teams in the league, we've never won the lottery.
Yeah.
So I don't think wanting the team to lose and rooting for the team to lose so we get a better pick is going to do anything. I don't.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you think we should have taken Higgins over Martone?
No,
Because
I
I
don't.
know Martone is having a good season, but what if we didn't know any better? We took James Higgins.
I think Martone was the right pick.
Me too.
I do. I
I
think
mean, even if we
he's been
needed a
great.
center at the time, we could always get another one.
He has been great at Michigan State. He
Oh
is
my
one.
God, I have been watching all the games.
He's been
Even though
phenomenal.
I only watch Penn State football and Penn State hockey, I have been loving Porter Martone's playing in NCAA.
I agree. Absolutely. It's a shame that he can't be on the team right now. I'm hoping Michigan State's season ends as soon as possible, not just because I'm a Wolverines fan, but because I want Martone up here I want him up here ASAP.
Yeah.
Someone said they'd swap Martone for Higgins today. I mean, it's tough to say when neither of them have played in the NHL yet. So, I don't know. But Luke, thank you so much for calling in, man. I'm going to let someone else in. I appreciate you
All
so
right.
much and go Flyers, all
Thank you,
right?
JT, for letting me even in.
Of course, go Flyers.
Go Flyers.
All right. I'll take one more call in later, one or two. But thank you for the follow, Ian. Really appreciate it. Christian, thank you for the follow. Yeah, if you guys aren't following and you could, I'd really appreciate it. Trying to really grow this account to any hockey fans or Flyers fans. Or if you just enjoy watching my streams for Broad Street Banter, I would really appreciate that as well. So thank you. Anthony joined the fan club. Thank you, Anthony. Let's go. Yeah, let's move on to tonight's game. We talked enough about Flyers Caps, I believe. We talked enough about how the team's losing, but let's talk about tonight. I think Luke made a good point saying that tonight is a must win and that if they want to make any push for the playoffs, that this has to be a win. You can't lose to the worst team in the league 3 times a year and expect to make the playoffs. Done with this team after Matt Vay takes another vacation midseason as if he can't lock in without it. I'm done. Bobby Esmarta was impressed. I agree. 100% must win. A push for the playoffs is just not worth it. If Martone doesn't sign, it's over. He will. Rangers are a small favor tonight. I know, which is really sad on our part. I think we're going to win tonight. I do. I always think the Flyers are going to win, though. But I do have a good feeling about tonight. I do. Normally, I'm like sick to my stomach all day when the Flyers play that team because I hate them so much. But I have a good feeling about tonight. I think we're going to win. I didn't think we were going to beat them the last 2 times we played them. Now I do. Stop Zibanejad. I'm tired of seeing that man get hat tricks against us. I agree. At least Panarin's gone. He can't score against us. He scores at least 2 every time we play him. But now Panarin's gone, so we only have to worry about him when we play the Kings now. Whether that's probably next year. I think we played them twice already. I'd rather tank this year and try to get a top 8 pick and then really start to build up for playoffs. I just don't think it's going to do anything at this point. They've been doing that for years and we haven't taken a step forward yet. So Michkov is not a superstar in any fashion. He's slow. He doesn't back check. His passes are slow. I wouldn't go that far, but I don't think he's a superstar right now. I wonder if y'all lose tonight, if they sell at the deadline. They will if they lose tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is kind of like the last straw, I think, for if they're gonna try to make the playoffs. If they don't win tonight, I think it's like, all right, wrap it up. But if they do, maybe they get a little help from someone else around the league losing. They get within 6 points of the playoffs. Then maybe you start focusing on a playoff push if you can string a few wins in a row. Pittner, what's up, man? Can we get a first for Risto if we retain salary? I don't want to retain his salary. That's the whole point of getting rid of him. I'm a hockey fan, but mainly a Tampa Bay fan. Very nice. They might win the cup this year. Tampa's so good. Tampa's ridiculous. Coots sold. Hmm? No way a first for Risto. I think it's possible. There's a few teams interested in him, and the Flyers did say that they're only trading Risto if they get a really good offer for him. Like they're not just going to get rid of him to dump his salary. Is basically what they're saying. They need something good, like a first round pick. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a first for Lawton last year. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a first for Risto this year. I really wouldn't be. I wouldn't put it past a team like I don't know, Dallas or Tampa or someone like that to give up a first for Ristolainen. I really think that's possible. I'd have to look, but do you know what a buyout looks like for Coots? They're not going to buy him out because he's the captain. He's making too much. He's going to be a Flyer until he retires. I think people just have to accept that at this point. Torts got gold, by the way. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I was upset Zegras wasn't on Team USA. That would have been cool. Coots doesn't know how to play without his stick every he oh, I missed that. He drops it and leaves his man to grab it. Buyout for Coots is impossible. He's making all base salary, so we'd only have 1 mil per year. Coots needs to retire. He probably does need to retire, and it's sad to say that because I really like him. Top 10 favorite Flyer ever, Sean Couturier. Will always like him. He's been a Flyer his whole career, but his time is coming up for sure. It for sure is. He probably gets moved in 2027, 2028 ish. I don't think he's ever going to get moved if he keeps playing like this, and it's not his fault. Thank you for the follow. Um, Flyers need to win next five, and then I will have some confidence. That's asking for a lot, but at the same time, it's not that much, I feel like. But they haven't won 5 games in a row all year, so maybe a 5 game point streak. But yeah, I'm frustrated with last night, but look, we got to look forward to tonight. They're going to win tonight, and we're going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to talk about how they beat the crap out of the worst franchise in all of sports. All right? That's what we're going to do. Because I'll say this nobody understands how much I hate the Rangers. I don't even like saying their team name. Nobody understands. You might think you know, but you don't. You might be like, oh, this guy, he doesn't like the Rangers. He's just doing it as like a gimmick for social media. No, no, no. I hate them more than any sports team. I hate them more than anything ever. And they're not even the Flyers' biggest rival. I can't stomach losing this team again. There's going to be a hole in the wall if we lose this game tonight. They better find a way to win it. I don't care how. I don't care how. I don't care if they win 1-0. I don't care if they win 100-0. Win the game. Don't do anything crazy. If they lose, I will. Would love to trade Sealer. Think that Risto is actually more valuable when we're looking for playoffs. Well, Risto is more valuable, so he's going to get traded because we'll get more value for him. We're not going to get anything for Sealer right now. We should get Gudis back. I mean, I don't know about that. Please beat us tonight. We need McKenna. Rangers fans, get out. Curtis! Curtis! No way! Someone's laughing at the fact that I said playoffs. Yeah. Whatever. How dare I have hope in my team? Even if it's a very small amount of hope. Curtis, you can call in, man. If you can, that is. 6.8% chance of making the playoffs. Yep. If you're tired of losing. What? Oh, we got someone in here trying to promote gambling. That's interesting. So why did Tocchet not challenge for goal interference? Vladar clearly got his stick hit away. I don't think that was goal interference. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was who was it? I think it might have been Sanheim that actually hit his stick out of the way. So it's hard to challenge that. I think he was thinking about it and then he realized like that's not goal interference. I think Vladar thought someone on Washington hit his stick out of his hands, but it was really Sanheim on accident. Mika might drop 3 on your head again tonight. I would beat the crap out of that loser. Needs a haircut. Oh my gosh, I can't stand that guy. I'm trying to watch what I say here on TikTok. I don't want to get banned. I think it was Sandy too. Yeah, I think it was. Why? Because he owns your franchise? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this guy's so funny. Why not put Michkov on first power play unit? Because he hasn't been good. Oh my gosh, bro. Are you kidding me? I just got a thing pop up. Who reported me? I just got reported for bullying. You Ranger fans are that soft? You reported me for bullying? Okay, you didn't report me. Somebody did. Or TikTok somehow knew what I was saying. I don't think I said anything bad. Oh, I said I was going to beat up Zibanejad. I guess they consider that as a threat. That's lame. All right, my bad. You didn't report me. My bad. But that sucks. Now my live is shadow banned for 10 minutes it says. So nobody else can see it for 10 minutes. Probably was Biz, he saw your video. That's funny. uh yeah. Bulbous Annette reported my TikTok. That is so stupid. Oh my gosh. It said harassment and bullying. Who did I bully? I guess Rangers fans? But like that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. I gotta watch what I say before I get my account like taken down. Oops. But they deserve it? No. No, they don't. I love everybody. Yes. Yes, I do. I love everyone, TikTok. I don't bully anybody. I love everyone. I have no problems with anybody that wears a blue and red hockey jersey. Don't ban me. Curtis, you can join, man. Yeah, just watch what you say, apparently, because we're shadow banned because of my bullying, apparently.
What up? What up?
Curtis, how we doing, man?
Doing good. Um, what I really want to say is I don't really want to talk about yesterday's game
Mm-hmm.
because it's just I can't even put it into words.
Mm.
If Logan Thompson's not a net for the Caps, we win by 3 or more.
Mm.
Because the Mitchkov shot save, that was crazy.
True.
And then there were so many other chances. And then the one thing we did that was great is that we put people in front of the net and we score. And we didn't do it for the rest of the game. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's true. It's true. Our one goal, we had Michkov and Cates in front of the net, and it worked.
Yeah. And
But
on one thing,
mhm.
Tockett's got these lines, because I don't know how you go. Grabankin, a few games ago, he was on the top line.
Mhm.
And then yesterday, he's playing on the fourth line.
Yeah,
It just doesn't make sense.
it's a good point. I didn't mind Grabenkin on the first line for those few games because he was actually playing very well. He was playing the best hockey I've seen him play in probably his young career so far.
Yeah.
But
So
I don't understand how you can go from the first line and then we have a 3-week break and now you're on the fourth line. Like how bad did he practice in those 3 weeks to the point where he went down to the fourth line? Or we're just moving people around to be stupid. I don't know. But that's a good point, Curtis.
and then Emile Andre not playing is it's just so bad.
I agree.
He's a top defenseman for our team
Mm-hmm.
because we lack defensemen, and he's not playing.
This is true.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're keeping him away from injuries, if they want to trade him. I did see that 9 scouts for other NHL teams were at the game yesterday looking at Rasmus Ristolainen.
9, you said?
9 or 8.
Wow.
And he also had a +9 in the Olympics, so that has to bring in some interest with him.
Right.
So
I think we're getting rid of Risto and Andre at the deadline, which I hate to say about Andre, but I think we're getting rid of him. Because why else isn't he playing? You know?
yeah, Andre kind of reminds me of like a bigger Mitchkov. Like I don't know why I get the resemblance,
Mm.
but I feel like they move the puck the same way, and when he's on the ice, he makes a bigger difference than Mitchkov himself.
Yeah. Someone earlier was saying, why don't we have Michkov on the first power play unit? But it's because he hasn't been great.
Because he hasn't scored.
Yeah.
He lacks. The only ones he can put in the back of the net are ones right in front of him, or if he gets somehow a breakaway, which he hasn't done all season.
Yeah. It's true.
Last year he scored goals, a bunch of them from breakaways and being in the right place at the right time. We haven't seen any of that.
Yeah. You're right.
So,
It's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating.
it's just annoys me. And then we go into the Garden, one of the most famous places in
Most overrated arena.
no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been there. It's awesome, but
Don't say that about the arena.
it's the arena.
I know. I'm only kidding.
So we go into New York. We play the team from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they have, I think, someone fact check for like this for me. I want to know if this is the Rangers' first game back from the break.
It is, I believe.
Okay. So they're gonna. I just hope we can get one back. Back-to-back games are always tough on teams, especially us. Our record back-to-back games hasn't been the best.
Mm-hmm.
But just out of the gate, you gotta put some in the back of the net first period.
Right. I agree. I feel like we're gonna win tonight, but I say that all the time, and sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I do have a weird good feeling that we're going to win. Like the game against Colorado, I thought we were going to win, and we did somehow. I don't know how that happened, but I have a good feeling about tonight. I could see it being like a high scoring game because Vladar's probably not going to be in it because he played last night. I could see it like a game when we beat them late in the season last year, 8-5, with Forster had the hat trick and Kolosov gave up 5, but we still won. I don't think Shesterkin played in that game. It wasn't Shesterkin or Airson in that game
Yeah,
for us.
Shesterkin is not playing. I think he's still injured. I would hope. Well,
Right.
not like that, but he's so good when he plays against us.
Yeah. Always. So
It just it doesn't help because I feel like whenever we play goalies, they play like the best they've played in their career, and it just annoys me.
absolutely. Well, hopefully they get the win tonight, man. Thank you for calling in. And I'm gonna let one more person join before we wrap things up. But thank you so much for calling in, and go Flyers. All right.
All right, go Flyers. I'll see you, JT.
See ya. All right, Johnny. I'm gonna let you call in now. Sorry about that. Why did you bat on my genetics exam? Oh, I'm sorry, Braden. All right, Johnny. Here we go. Last call in before we wrap things up. Johnny, how we doing? By the way, I love the profile picture. By the way, you in the Giroux jersey as a kid? That's sick.
Watching the Winter Classic when I was like 3.
That's awesome. That's sick.
Real quick, you said something about people wearing the red and blue jerseys. I was just wearing this, so I took it off for you.
That's great. USA is acceptable. USA. You know who I was talking about, though.
Anyway, that game last night, little rough. I thought they looked strong first period, second period.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to work on our defensive game,
Yep.
and beyond that, do you think we should tank? Though is the question.
No, I do not. I feel like tanking is just going to put us in the wrong direction once again, and we've already been through that the last 5 years. The Flyers aren't a franchise. They never have been where we've had to tank for half a decade because we have no talent. We need to go out in free agency, get some talent, develop the talent we have, and find a way to start making the playoffs year in and year out. I don't think tanking is the right choice for this franchise right now.
So the thing I've been thinking about recently, when it comes to like winning or tanking, is I feel like we've been rebuilding for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
People can't accept that like we should be good by now, which
Yeah.
I think we should.
I agree.
Think we're hard. But I think the thing is, like, if we keep having a few more years, like, people are going to start to say, like, oh, well, you know, you're wasting Michkov's career. You're wasting Ziegler's career. It's going to be like, we'll have to give them up, and then we'll be right back to where we started. So we really need to start winning, I think.
Yeah.
Like, just season-wise, like, not just games.
I agree. Absolutely. I'm trying to read the chat here, see if I missed anything. Hi, Molly. How we doing? Yeah, I know a lot of people disagree with me when I say we should tank, but a lot of people disagree. But, you know, I don't think tanking is going to do us anything. We've been doing that for 5 years, so.
Yeah. Do you see any real problems with the coaching staff?
I don't understand why we couldn't go with Brad Shaw. I've said that, you know, I feel like it just doesn't make sense to me because the team looked a lot better when Brad Shaw was managing our offense. Our power play looked better. I don't really understand why we couldn't keep him around, but I don't hate Tocchet, but I also don't like the fact that Andre's not playing. I don't like the fact that he moves Grunstrom to center when he's not a center. I don't like the fact that, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't his fault because we don't have centers. That's not on did I say Terry Bradshaw? No, someone in the okay. Brad Shaw is who I think should have been our coach, but I don't hate Tocchet, but I don't love him so far. I do think I'd like to see him finish the full season and then see what you know, what happens. But how do you feel about that?
Tocchet, I know Tocchet's a Flyers legend.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they brought him in, just because like he's known through the franchise. That makes a lot of like older fans happy, probably.
Right.
But there probably were better options. I don't hate Tockett. I think he's an interesting way of coaching. Like taking players out.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I know he's having problems with Mitch Goff. He's been resting the players you said, obviously, but I want to see him finish the season, and then I hope he comes back next year. I just hope he, better positive mindset, I guess. Like, I don't want to sound corny, but that's really what we need at the moment. Like,
Right.
just the mindset.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna wrap up the show now, but I appreciate you calling in, Johnny. Great talking to you, and go Flyers. All right. All right, guys. Thank you everyone so much for watching. One last thing before we wrap this up: Flyers better win tonight. I can't stomach losing to this team. I will be posting on this account through tonight. So if you guys, yes, go Flyers. Molly, are you a Flyers account? Yes, you are. I'll give you a follow back. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Joe, thank you so much. Jeff, thank you. Don't do anything crazy, JT. Well, I won't if we win, but we'll see. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Go Flyers.